gloomy in here, a bit dark. Is it? Oh, well, of course, it's the specs. Yes, these are Holy specs. Yes, I should really be looking at bright light for these. But hang on, there's something very interesting about this pair of spectacles before I put them down, because this is a celebration of pi. Look, here we go. 3.1415. All the way down here are places of decimal of pi, all in the right order, right the way down to the bottom. Then right to the very top, we carry on down here, still places of decimal of pi, until we come to the start position, at which point that is now the 200th place of decimal of a pi. Wow, what a piece. Wonderful mnemonic. What about the specs themselves? Anything about them? Well, yes, they should be celebrating pi too. So let's have a go at putting them on the camera lens and seeing if we can find anything actually in the spectacles themselves. I need to turn on a bright light as a source. So pi, as you know, is the Greek letter for p, and it's also the ratio of the circumference to the diameter of a circle. And it's particularly thought about on Pi Day. Have you ever celebrated Pi Day? Well, it's the 14th of March. 3 for the American way of saying a month first, and then 14 for the day. 3.14. Got it? That's the way they celebrate pi. And it's going to be 2,500 years old. Well, I'm not sure I care for 2,500-year-old pi. Would you? I'll pass on that. Anyway, these are just a few extra pieces that I picked up at the Gathering for Gardner with some extraordinary maths and science and properties. Here's one, for instance, that a friend of mine, Simon Bexhill, gave me. It's normally regarded as a book stacking problem, where you stack books and try to get as many as you can to overhang, but it doesn't fall down. And the maths was discovered to be, and this is what he gave out, these little series of slats of wood with markings on it. You're supposed to have a half here, then a quarter, then a sixth, then an eighth, then a tenth, then a 12th, and so on in twos, even numbers. And at that point, it will overhang, and you just about get the edge of this one slightly overhanging the edge of the actual point of suspension here. So the centre of gravity is just the other side and allows it to sit there without falling over. A remarkable piece of maths as well. More maths appear with this one here from a lovely Japanese chap who gave a very good talk on geometrical toys. Here's a bunch of sticks he made. He let me buy it too from his shop. He said, oh no, it opens up into a kind of pointed star thing, but when you take it further, you suddenly become a recognisable diamond. Look at that, isn't that superb? An octahedron. Very, very nicely done. All with little pieces of bamboo and joins almost invisibly small plastic rings and tubes. There's the star formation. Keep pushing it in, and eventually you come to a bunch of sticks. This is how we began. Put that in your pocket and you can go home. Nice demonstration of octahedrons. I like that. I met up with Raymond Hall, who I've been corresponding with now for about 20 years, and his exchange at the gathering was a very nice one. There's a magnet at the top here, there's a pin here and a spiral, and we placed that there. It just sits there looking very elegant. And perhaps I'll give it a little twist with my finger to rotate it round. What a lovely piece that is. Very elegant and very sweet. And I think I'm going to be able to show that to an awful lot of people who love simple toys that have a movement to them. There we are. Which put you up there one more time. Keep it to stay. Very elegant. Well done, Ray. It's a nice piece for my collection. I like that. Another bit of mathematics I came across was Jamie Grimes gave this out. We've sold this in our web shop for about 10, 15 years or more, non-transitive dice, but he came up with a lecture on non-transitive dice for 3 people, 3 players. These old ones that we sell only have 2 players involved. So how does it work? Well, I didn't pay enough attention to his lecture, so all I've got to now do is contact him and get him to write me down the rules for playing. It's the usual business, A beats B beats C, which beats A, which beats, and so on round. That's a non-transitive relationship. But this is something you can do with 3 players, not 2, and that's the dice you use them for. So I'm looking forward to learning how to do that. It'll be a skill toy. Here's something that Gary Foshi made. I've come across this before, but this is such fun to make oneself. It's a box which is nestling, because inside it is another box. Like a Petrushka doll, you know, with a box, a bigger doll on the outside and a smaller one on the inside, except these do look awfully similar, don't they, in size. Is it possible to think that this one could go inside, because a moment ago it was outside? Well, yes, it does, actually. Extraordinary. Reversible nestling boxes, what about that? And the magicians love this and called it Gozinta boxes, G-O-Z, Gozinta boxes. To make my own version was a great thrill. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing that. This wasn't an exchange, it was something given to me by Adam Rubin, who I've met a few times. And the business card, would you believe? A business card? Nothing on it. How can that be? A business card? Well, you've got to turn it over like that, and suddenly Adam Rubin appears. This way there's nothing there at all. Turn it over and his name suddenly appears. Wonderful. It's a kind of contravision, but very, very much more refined than the contravision I know, because the spots here to create the effect are absolutely superb, much, much smaller. And also he gave me two of them, so inviting me to have a go of playing with moire patterns. So we turn them over to the blank side and put them one upon the other. There's the moire patterns. A large blurb, and suddenly it starts diminishing, getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, till it becomes almost impossible to make out. And then 90 degrees later, it starts getting larger and larger and larger and larger, passes through the maximum point, and then the cycle repeats itself every 90 turns. So a lovely demonstration of moire patterning, as well as an absolutely amazing business card. Fantastic, I love it. Great thrill. Another card item, I've forgotten who gave this out, but it was a Magic Studio, I think, over in California. But it's they have given the credit correctly. This is Angelo Carboni, who I've known for years, who's made a thing called Out of Order. Here's a group of cards which have been stapled together, and they just turn around like that and so on. And they're all in the right order, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Except when I take both the back ones and turn it around like that, how come they appear out of order? 6, 8, 7, 9, 10. How can that be? Put those two back like that and see if we can get back into order again. Yep, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Something very clever going on inside there. A kind of mechanical device which I knew about, but had no idea they could be done with cards. So I won't give it away. It's a wonderful secret. So what a piece. It's very nice to have that and being shown to me as well. And the last item is something I spent a very happy 2 hours one evening creating. It's like having X-ray eyes. Have you ever walked into a combination lock in a safe? Well, you couldn't, could you? Except you can with this one here. Here's a dial. And that's the thing being opened. But if we now scramble it up, that's what you do. You started with it scrambled up, and you've got to learn how to operate it. And you have a combination lock, but I'm going to cheat by looking down from here, and then I can see what's happening. So as I turn, first the first one here turns, then the second one, and now the third one will go on to the point in which that little valley appears exactly over this long bolt. And now we go back the other way and pick up the next dial, the middle one. Here it comes. There we are. Two lined up already. We're 2/3 of the way there. And finally, this one turns around, picks up, and I've just gone a little bit past it. There, like that. It clicks into place. And what happens now? We pull it back, and the safe's opened. Extraordinary. What a lovely idea, isn't it? So it's like walking into a safe with X-ray eyes, or it's like being able to actually walk into a safe and be able to see the mechanism, because you're so small. I like the idea of being able to crack safes like that. I think I'm going to have a go at it. What about you? Cracking safes.